All right, then. Derek, thanks for joining us too.
My pleasure. Thank you for organizing.
Pleasure. Okay, then. So, guys, tonight we are going to focus on teaching/coaching. So I'm going to share my screen. As always, we are recording this just so we are well aware. Okay. All right, guys. So tonight, teaching, coaching in brackets, the what and the how. So let's get started. Who are we teaching then? So first question of the evening, who are we teaching? This is open to anyone. Who are we teaching?
U10 Classic.
U10 Classic, perfect. Okay, U10 Classic. So how old are those kids?
9 and 10.
10 years old.
Did I get that right?
Again, sorry?
Oh, shit.
I said, I hope I got that right.
Oh, are you coaching U10 Classic? 9 and 10 years old?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, that's great. All right, then. So let's go back in here. Who else are we coaching?
Sorry, I just figured out my microphone. U12.
No worries, Bill. U12 Classic.
I'm doing third grade girls.
Years old. Third grade girls. So that is
8 years old.
Yep. And I got third grade boys.
okay. So that would be U9, right? U9 boys. Third grade. But both of you guys are Caroline, and who else was that there that said that? Is it Emily, Caroline?
It's actually Marcy.
Marcy. No worries, Marcy.
Yes. It's 8-year-old girls.
8-year-old girls. And Caroline, you have 8-year-old boys, right? Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Oh, 8 years old. Okay. Why is this important? What do you guys think? So different ranges of ages and sexes. Why is it important to know who we are teaching?
What they can handle.
Yep, what they can handle. Okay, so let's talk about characteristics. U10 boys, what are they going to be like?
They're starting to come into their own, at least with respect to formations. They are starting to play unselfishly.
Yep, perfect.
Passing.
Yeah. So without going too much, let's say, into the psychological spectrum, that there's a very famous psychologist called Jean Piaget, and he talks about the cognitive development model. So within these kids here, the majority of them are in the concrete operational stage. So they view the world in relation in them to the world. So they are the central or focal point to their world, and everything is in relation to them. That's really important to understand, that when you're working with kids, more often than not, that you talk about as they get older, these team concepts become much easier. But that's why at the younger ages we play small-sided games, because they understand truly that interaction. And that is not a limit, or does not limit them to certain things they can and cannot do. But it's really important to understand that they see the world in relation to them. So that's one example of why we would do small-sided games. And the other thing is, as an example, we can talk about this in a minute. If we're teaching these ages of kids, then, for example, talking for long periods of time and not engaging them or keeping their attention could be problematic or detrimental to training session, as an example. Okay, good stuff, guys. Good start. All right, so what are we teaching then? What are we teaching?
During practice?
Yeah, so yeah, what are we teaching during practice?
Moments of the game.
Moments of the game. Okay. Soccer. Yeah, thanks, Brian. Moments of the game. It's good. Yeah, simple, right? Moments of the game. Football. Oh,
Should have a U10. I mean, we're starting to, focus on formations.
okay. I'm just going to put in there the game, exclamation mark. Formations will come into it. But, as Bill mentioned there, moments of the game. So what could be part of moments of the game?
Attacking.
Attacking? What's another moment of the game?
Well, can it be more like skill oriented? Like just basic concepts of the game of soccer, getting acclimated for those that really just joined the interest, but looking more at the players on the team using each other to play the sport, not so much of I'm just going to take the ball and dribble all the way down the field.
Okay, so really good questions, really good points, and it's important that we talk about this, right? So let's do a quick experiment as a group. Okay, what I want everybody to put into the group chat, I want everyone to define what a skill is, and after a minute, so don't do it yet. After a minute, I'll say, okay, go, and then everyone can enter into the group chat. So I'll give you about a minute to 90 seconds. Don't enter it yet, but when I say go, enter what you define as a skill. Okay? So minute to 90 seconds, off we go. Don't put it in yet. When I say go, you can enter it into the group chat. After a minute, Brian, but thank you. Slap of the wrist for Brian. Didn't listen. All right, then, guys, go. Put it in. What have you got? Okay. All right, then. So, would you guys say that we all can define from what everyone's written here what a skill is, or we can't define what a skill is?
We can.
Can? Okay. So there is one clear way to define what a skill is, or there is lots of different answers here.
It's a good variety.
Okay. So everyone had a uniformed answer. To define what a skill is.
Yeah, I want to take my back and adopt Kerr. Am I pronouncing your name correct?
Yeah, that's my name is actually Sam. Kerr, but Kerr is the account that came up
Okay.
when I connected.
Well, Sam, you nailed it.
Okay. So,
All right, apart from like the end where my typing on the phone was no good.
I think you're the only one who actually answered the questions to define it. We just gave examples. Well, at least I did. I don't call everyone else out.
all right. So,
Well done, mate.
would you coach do a skill? Would you coach that in a training session?
I used to.
Okay. Anyone else? What do you think? Would you coach do a skill?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So if you're a player and I'm your coach and I say do a skill, do you think that's useful? Is that useful information to a player to learn?
Yes.
So if we are defending and our objective is to stop the opponent going forwards and I shout, do a skill, is that useful information?
I mean, no, not in and of itself, right?
Okay.
Wouldn't
So,
you have to, though, to apply it to the situation? So
okay. So go on, Archie, go on.
if you're saying, okay, defend the goal, so you're actually now in a position where the opponent's coming at you, you're trying to defend the goal. Your job is essentially to attack the ball wherever the ball is going to go. So you're going to get into a position where you are going to protect the goal and essentially try to get the ball using the skills that were taught previously.
So I'm going to reference this, right? There's a great opportunity for all of us to learn, okay, in this moment. So we've said we're defending the goal, but we want to attack the ball and use a skill. So defend the goal is correct. We don't have the ball, right? It's correct. Defend the goal. By attacking, we want to attack the ball and use a skill. Is this useful language?
Just
No.
sort of fundamentally speaking, I mean, a skill applied to an individual, whereas rather than sort of a team.
Okay, so this is why we're having this discussion, because it's really important. When you play soccer, or when you play football or soccer, are you acting or are you interacting?
Yeah, interacting.
Depends on the age of the kids.
Okay, well,
The older they get, the more they can interact with each other.
if I am playing 1 versus 1, am I acting? So am I just doing something for the sake of doing it? Or am I interacting in 1 versus 1?
Enter.
Okay.
I think it depends who's got the ball.
Okay. So good point. If they have the ball, am I still acting or interacting?
If you have the ball, I would say you're acting.
Okay.
If you do not have the ball, I would say you're interacting.
So how do I make decisions? Do I make decisions based off if I have the ball or you have the ball? Or does it matter?
Combination of both, no?
Okay. So if Derek steps to the left and he has the ball, do I step to the right if I'm defending?
If you're facing him, yeah.
Okay. All right. So better. I'll make it a better question. Derek has the ball. He's going towards my goal. Okay. Do I want to stop him or do I want to run away from him?
Stop him.
Stop him. Okay. How do I know to stop him?
Because you don't want to get scored on?
Correct. Okay. So I don't want to get scored on. So am I just acting or am I interacting with the environment?
The latter.
Okay. I have the ball. Derek is behind me. I want to go to the goal. There is lots of space. What am I going to do?
If you've got a clear space, you're just going to dribble as fast as you can, right?
Yeah, correct. Why? Why is that, Kurt? Or Sam? Sorry.
Sorry. Well, because you've got the opportunity, and you got to stay out of that other player.
Okay. So what tells me to go towards the goal? The space, right? Space tells me to go towards the goal. So when we talk about skill, so let's say, because everybody says this, right? Well, the majority of people say this, we want to learn to do a skill. Is that a relative thing to say, or is that an irrelevant thing to say? What do you guys think?
To tell a child that, it's irrelevant.
Okay. We have the ball. Okay. All the players on the opposite side, of the field. They're on the right side of the field. Our teammates are open on the left side of the field. Okay. What are we going to do to be able to eventually score when we're attacking? What do you guys think?
Pass.
Okay. Passing is an action because we've interacted with the environment. So our action is to now pass to the open player. Sam was talking about having space and time. There are no defenders around me because the defenders are behind me. What would the action or interaction be?
All the defenders are behind you.
Yeah. What am I going to do?
Control the ball till you get into a comfortable proximity.
Does an 8-year-old, and this is just, again, to paint a picture and a metaphor, does an 8-year-old understand, control the ball and get into a proximity? What would they understand, Derek? What would be better to say to them there?
No, well, it depends on age, right? When I was coaching 8-year-olds, the minute they saw an open goal, it didn't matter how far away they were, they kicked it.
Yeah, or what was their decision? They would do what with the ball? Go towards it, right?
Yeah.
So their decision is based off their interaction with the environment. So this is where we start looking at our language being really important and what we are teaching. So if we have the ball, what moment of the game are we teaching?
Offense.
Attacking, yeah. Attacking, yeah. We don't have the ball. What are we teaching?
Defending.
Defending. Okay. We've just lost the ball, or we just won the ball back. What are we teaching?
Attacking.
So we've pressed and we've won the ball back. What are we going to teach? The moment is what? We've just gone from what to what?
Transitions.
Yeah, transition. Transition. Head. Defending. Okay. Within those moments, attacking, defending, transitioning. We're going to teach skills, or what are we going to teach? What do we say? Interaction or an action?
Okay, interactions.
Interactions. Yeah. So we call them football actions because they're relative to the interaction that's occurring. So football action. So what football actions are going to occur with an attacking?
Passing, moving
Correct.
towards the goal.
Yeah, correct. So attacking actions. Passing. What else?
Shoot.
Shooting. What else?
Dribbling.
Dribbling. Yeah. What else?
Ball control.
What's a better way to see control? If I'm
Receive.
passing to you, you're doing what with the ball?
Trapping.
Okay, trapping or begins with an R.
Not rebounding.
Not rebounding. Receiving. Okay. So another quick one there. We call it receiving because the ball is being given from one player to another player. Trapping, is that subjective? Objective? Subjective, right? So receiving the ball is objective. The ball is being passed from one player to another who is then receiving the ball. Shooting, dribbling. Okay, good. All right. Do we have defending actions? And if so, what would they be?
Covering another player.
Yeah, very good. What is covering? Covering the what?
Well, the space or the ball.
Correct.
Staying in your zone.
Covering the space. Do you have zones? I know I'm being difficult,
Yeah.
but it's good. We don't have good conversations unless I'm difficult. So
No, it's fine.
do we have zones? Do we mark zones out on the field?
To an
Yeah.
extent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say zone 23, go defend that. Do they know what that is?
No idea.
They know left and right. Yeah.
They know left and right.
Right.
Yeah, they do. No
Coach
left and right.
side, parent side.
Okay, good. What do they understand though? Would they understand covering space or covering zone?
Covering space.
Covering space. Okay, good. What's another defensive action or defending action?
Play the ball.
So we're defending and you're asking them to play the ball?
Yeah, rather than backpedal.
Okay, so we're defending and I say play the ball and we don't have the ball. Is that clear or is that confusing?
I mean, I think it sort of depends on how you establish the nomenclature for your team.
Nomenclature. Go over that. What does that mean?
How you communicate to them. What
Okay.
sort of terms you use to convey a message.
Okay.
It's usually, I mean, that's, to me, it's been
9 and 10-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds. Is it clear to say play the ball when we're defending?
in my experience, it's resonated. I don't know if that's a technically correct term, but
Well, in my experience, it's resonated. So this is a good conversation we're having. But experience over, let's be objective in what is defending. Do we play with the ball when we defend?
We don't have the ball when we're defending.
Okay.
You want to try to get the ball.
Okay. So how do we know, or what do we know to do to go and get the ball? So covering is a correct term. You're covering the space to stop the opponent playing forward. Do we just cover the entire game though?
Marking up players. I mean, is that sort of the same lines of covering?
Well, yeah. So marking would be one player on one player. Okay. So, so it's not incorrect, but covering is defending space. But we don't want to just defend space, or we don't want to just mark players. If someone has the ball, okay, so I'm next to you, Marcy. So you have the ball, I'm next to you. Do I just cover the space, or what would I do?
Find the open space so then I could pass to you.
No, I'm playing against you though, right?
That's defense.
Okay, I thought you were.
Yes, I'm defending against you. I'm closest to you. You have the ball. I want to stop you playing it. Do I cover the space, or what do I do?
Go towards me to get the ball.
Correct. That is the correct action. But what do we call that?
Attack the ball.
So we're defending, and you're asking me to attack the ball.
I like that, Emily. I'm all about action verbs.
Attack. So we're defending, and you're asking me to attack the ball.
So essentially, it's playing the ball.
So
Is
pressing.
Pressing.
Yeah, pressing, covering. Okay. So I'm saying this to clear up our language, because we go back here, we're working with these kids. Now, I understand what your intentions are, because this is your intention to coach. But children don't understand your intentions because they're children, right? So you have to have clear language to be able to teach them. So what are we teaching? We're teaching the game, but the level of importance of having clear and concise language to teach, and clear and concisely defined terms to be able to teach, is extremely important. And if we can't define this, there'll be a problem to teach it to the players. Any questions so far, guys?
So are you saying then we should be using the terminology pressing as opposed to play the ball?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I say that because if you say play the ball and you're 8 years old and you're defending, do you see how the confusion or the chaos might ensue there?
So, and I'm just playing devil's advocate. So I have 8-year-old girls.
Yeah.
And they tend to run away from the ball.
Okay.
So they are sort of backing up, if you can imagine and visualize it, that they're sort of backing up, then they kind of shift their body and run right to the goal. Whether they're afraid of the ball or not afraid of the ball, they're not attacking the ball. And they're almost sort of not, I would clearly say not pressing the ball. So if I use the words play the ball, I feel like they have a better indication and a direct message from me to say that. But if it's the lingo and the terminology that will be enhanced later on as they get older, then I certainly need to change that.
Can I offer a counterpoint?
Sure.
When I hear you say attack the ball, we just had Halloween. I've got a hatchet in my hand and I'm getting that ball. I'm going to slice it in half, right? That's kind of a thought that I would have when you say attack the ball.
Sure.
It's also counterproductive. If you watch University of Maryland, I just went to Maryland's game recently. Their defenders do not attack the ball.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's do this to simplify this. Quick, Marcy, as well, quickly, quick question. Have you ever used the term pressing with your players?
I have not.
Okay, no problem.
I haven't either.
Okay, no worries, guys. We are here to get better, but without having these conversations and discussions on what, how, and why, it is difficult for us to get better. So. Team in green has the ball. I'll make this the little ball over. Right, the ball's the red ball.
Pretty good at that, mate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Is that a size 3?
Size 3. I'm playing the little kids. Okay, the goal's over here. So we'll put that in there quick. Goals here. Greys are protecting their goal. Okay. This player over here has the ball. The action is pressing. 9. I'll just put these numbers for the sake of it. Which number for the grey team is going to press the ball?
3.
Why 3?
Because that's the closest. That would be a better player to as the angle to play. Well, or 9.
Simplify it. You nearly said it as well, Marcy. You said that you're about to say the closest player. Am I correct?
Yes.
9's the closest player. 9 should press the ball. What should 3 and 2 do now?
Well, 3 should get 9 and
Good
2
shift.
should cover 2.
Okay. 3 should get 9 and 2 should get 2.
Well, they're not like right in front of them. They should be covering the space that 9 and 2 are going to be moving into.
Okay. Well, you just simplified it there, right? If 9 presses, 3 and 2 cover what? You just said it there. The space, right?
Space in the
Yeah.
middle.
The space behind the press.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3's an unbelievable 8-year-old. He's just switched the ball over to the 2 on the other side. What happens now if we're defending?
You have 2 press, 3 shifts.
Shifts or covers?
Yeah, covers.
Covers. What does 9 do?
So 3 would stay static, just where he's at. Where
I'm asking you
Here
guys.
she's at.
What would 3 do?
when I say shift, I mean move towards the middle.
Correct? Or cover the space in the middle.
Mhm.
What's better, shift or cover the space? What's a clear reference for the players? Shift or cover?
Cover.
Cover.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 covers where?
The space in the middle.
3 covers where? Space in the middle, space behind the press. Okay, good. Does that help in terms of creating a clear reference of what to teach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where are we teaching? So we've shifted it. Where are we teaching?
Practice.
Practice? Yeah. Where else?
Not at the game.
Not at the game. At the game or not at the game?
Not at the game.
Not at the game.
Not at the game. Okay. So why would we not coach at the game? Or teach at the game?
And the game would be more of sort of reminding players what you went over to try to introduce new concepts at a game would confuse them.
Okay. So
Yeah, we have enough. Yeah, on trying to make heads and tails of it. What the heck is going on?
okay. So we're at a game. Coach Derek's session was on pressing. Okay. He did pressing on Wednesday. And we just get to the game. Can we not work on pressing during the game?
You can work on it, but you're not introducing a new skill that they would need opportunity to practice.
You said the S
Reminding
word.
them.
You said the S word.
Oh, you're right. I did say that.
I mean, at the game, you're sort of reminding the kids what you went over. As in sort of game time stress and the speed of a game is different than practice.
Okay. Can you
More like remember what we've worked on? That's what I'm sort of trying to.
100%. Yeah. What did you work on at practice?
Pressing, covering.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so in the game, we'll go back here to our little reference. We'll use the green team. So the green team have just lost the ball. Okay, so what shape are they playing in? The green team. Or what shape would you like them to play in?
2, 1. Wait.
Yeah, 1, 2, 1. What shape is that?
It was like a diamond.
There we go. Yeah, diamond. Okay, so we don't have the ball. We're defending. What do we want to do with our diamond?
Sort of take it up to their part of the field.
Okay, so let's
Like
take
shift it all the way up.
Find open space.
Okay, so we're defending. We're shifting and finding open space. What do you guys think? Shifting, find open space? Defending.
Well, I mean, 9 should be pressing. Right?
Okay, so let's create a reference as a team first.
As a team.
As a team, let's create a reference as a team. So green don't have the ball. Okay, so with the ball, what would you create? Let's start off with that first. With the ball, greens have the ball. What do we want to create? Space? No space? What do you think?
Space.
Space. Good. How do you create space in your diamond?
By moving the players around.
Around, or what do we need? Depth and width, right? Create depth and width in our diamond. Okay. So we want to create depth and width. Without the ball, what do we then do? We've just lost the ball. Grays have won it offers. Do we create depth or width, or do we take depth and width away?
No, we need to take it away.
Take it away. So how do you teach that to an 8-year-old? Make your diamond really big or make your diamond really small?
Smaller.
Make your diamond really small. Small diamond. Did 8 and 9-year-olds understand that? I think so. Okay, and now you can teach pressing. I'm closest to the ball, I can press. Okay, so can we teach at a game or can we coach at a game?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So these 2 moments, where are we teaching? At practice and at the games. So 2 moments. Okay, when do we teach or when do we coach? What do you guys think?
Well, just all the time, right?
Okay. All the time?
Well, all practice, at the game. Obviously, there's halftime before the game. You can also talk to the kids on the sideline.
Okay. So let's go through that. So when do we teach us? When do we coach? During the game? Well, before the game? Is that what you said, Sam?
Yeah.
Before the practice / game? During? After? Would you say before the practice and the game would be what? What would you teach?
I don't know if it's so much of teaching as it is to looking at a quick review of things that we practice to get their mindset into the game of we touched upon this. Let's try to use that in practice in the game.
Okay. So before the practice or game review, and what could you do? What else? Review, and you could give the kids what?
An intro to the training.
An introduction to training, yeah. And introduce the objective. What could the objective be for the practice of the game? Attacking, defending, transitioning, right? During the practice in the game, what are you going to coach?
Discipline.
You could. So discipline's important because if we're not disciplined, we cannot be as successful as we'd like to be. But if I shout discipline during the practice in the game, do they know what that is?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if it's in isolation, like, of course not. I mean, there's kids that have great vocabularies, but I'm thinking
Do you want to use the word consequence instead?
Well, who the hell knows? Every coach is different, right? You have a sort of way that you speak at a game. I mean, if you play discipline and you're sort of playing in your zone, the kids will understand that if that's the terminology that you use, right?
Do we all?
I mean, this is semantics. Yeah, okay, I get it.
So is it semantics, or are we all playing the same game?
I don't think we're playing the same game to some extent because everybody's coming in with different knowledge. So I feel like you have to get them to understand the vocabulary of the game.
Okay, so are there two?
Using discipline at a higher level probably could work.
Okay, so this is the point I'm making, right? So if we're coaching soccer, football, and we're all coaching the same thing, we're all teaching the same thing, is it useful for all of us to have different vocabularies? And you know, Derek, it's a good point you bring.
Yeah.
Everybody coaches, so everybody, being most coaches, they use different language and they use different vocabularies and they use different techniques for what they're coaching or teaching. Do you think that's useful?
I mean, I could see it being different. You assume that a kid is going to progress and have different coaches, and you wouldn't like them to have to completely learn a new set of terms. So uniformity, I think, is generally a good thing.
Yeah. But also it's useful if what we are coaching and teaching is objective. So if we're coaching objective things and teaching objective things that the kids can understand as children, it will only benefit them as they get older because they can build on it. If they know attacking is scoring one more goal than the other team and defending is stopping the opponent scoring a goal, that sounds really simple, but that is useful to understand because they can then build on it. If we use lots of different terminologies and words, then it's not useful because the kids don't understand it. Right. And then there's chaos. It creates chaos. And I'll be honest, right? A lot of the times we have calls and we talk about the kids don't know what they're doing. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. They're distracted. They're not focused. And that is a reality because they're kids and that's the case with them. But do we create more chaos by using words that aren't relative or teaching things that aren't relative? Asking the question is answering the correct question, right? We don't want to create more chaos for a chaotic environment with kids that have never played before. So if we use language, which is action language, and objective to what we're teaching, it makes teaching much easier for us. So that's why I am very, I'm very determined that we use the correct language so that we teach the correct things. It's very, very important. So when you say, and this takes us full circle, when we talk about teaching discipline, well, that is something that is important to us in our lives. Like having discipline in our lives is extremely important. But when we're coaching and we're coaching kids to play football, soccer, it's very important that we use language that they can be disciplined within. So instead of saying, okay, we want to be disciplined, we want to make sure that when we are defending, the closest player presses the ball and we cover behind the press. Now, if we do that consistently during the game, that would be discipline. So this is where discipline is important, but being able to maintain these actions that we're talking about is just as important, and defining them is the priority. So this is why we're going down this path of making sure we have clear references. Okay, good guys. So let's go to the next one. How do we teach? Because this is important. So we've talked about different ages, different kids we're working with. How are we going to teach, or how do we teach? / coach.
Repetition.
Repetition. Okay. What do we mean by repetition? This isn't a semantics question either, Gary. Repetition. What would you mean by that?
Sure. Demonstrating a particular drill, exercise, having someone start off slow, they understand the mechanics, and they do it until it becomes, I don't want to use the term muscle memory, but.
Okay. So repetition.
Mhm.
How do we teach and coach? So again, how do we teach and coach? Specifically, I want you to think about when I'll use you there, as when you are coaching, how do you coach or teach the kids? So you said, that's why I put demonstrating there. What you demonstrate, you show, right?
Yep.
You show them what to do. Okay.
So you state the new skill, and then you follow it up with a demonstration.
Skill or
no, sorry.
What are you going to show them?
So you show them whatever your concept is.
Okay, concept is better. So the moment that you're working within. So moment, attacking. It could be passing that way. Focusing on passing. We'll put there. Moment action. Moment attacking. The action is passing. So Coach Derek. So demonstrating. What did you say, Marcy? That would be second. What would be first? You said you introduced it, right? Introduce. The objective. Put brackets for the day. Demonstrating. I'm going to put slash showing. When would we demonstrate and show?
After you introduce it, right before it's their turn to practice it.
Yeah, good. So after the players have experienced it. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
Activities. What's another way that we can teach, or how do we teach? Why have I been really annoying the entirety of the call? What do I keep doing? And I've just done it again.
You question the learned skill of why it's important.
Yeah.
And how to apply it.
Yeah. Question. And what do you guys do when I keep asking these annoying questions? What do you keep doing?
Trying.
Say again, sorry?
We try to answer.
Try to answer, yeah. But you are answering it, but what are you doing? I ask a question, what does your brain do?
You're thinking about the response.
Thinking about the response, which is reflecting, right? Questioning to make the players reflect. Okay. And then once we've done with the questioning, what do we then do?
Drills.
we
I'm just skipping ahead, I'm sure, like 3 steps, but yeah.
No. So you then would experience or experienced activity again. Okay, good. All right, guys. Last one. Why do we teach / coach?
To improve.
To improve. Yeah. What are we improving?
The objectives. What your main goal was for the lesson or for the practice time.
We improve. Okay. Get better? At what, though?
Well, playing soccer or the action that you're teaching.
Simple, right? Improve, get better at playing the action you are teaching. Okay, that's why we're doing it. Team and players. Increase the football ability for both. All right, guys. Just like that. That is an hour gone. What do we think?
I'm buying a soccer glossary.
Good
Derek,
man,
you let me
Derek.
know where you get that, okay?
Because
Good man.
I'm way off. I'm setting these kids. They're destined for failure.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. You guys did a fantastic job of reflecting upon what was being asked of you. You really did. I'm serious. A lot of the times, I will ask these questions and I will talk with coaches. They have a huge, huge emotional reaction to what has been said. Huge emotional reaction. Because it's like I am questioning who they are. That's what happens. They think, he's questioning who I am. But you guys, because you're in it for the right reasons, you want to help the kids, you want to help them improve, you've reflected on it. Oh, well, is that the best thing to say? So if we can all keep doing this, we'll all keep getting better, our ability to coach the players. So well done. I know that wasn't easy at all because, as you guys say, I was a bit of an ass. A lot of the questions I was asking, it came across like that, right? But I'm doing it because I'm trying to make you guys reflect on, on what you are teaching the players. And in the end, we came up with really good references on what to coach and how to teach. So well done. It was good. And sorry, Derek, go on, mate.
No, man, I was going to extend a compliment. I mean, you're clearly taking your time out of your night and doing this, to help us improve. And I appreciate that. My pleasure.
My pleasure. It's what I love to do and enjoy doing. So please keep jumping on and being a part of these sessions. Next week, we are on the field. So you guys can scrutinize me in terms of how I do this. And you can see if this guy really lives up to the hype. So, you can come and watch and we can all do this together and work with some of the other kids. So if you're available, I believe the dates for the younger ages, grades 1, 2, and 3, is on Wednesday at 7 o'clock to 8:15. And the older age groups is next Monday, and it is from 5:30 to 7 o'clock. So if you would like to come out and have a watch, please feel free to do so. But again,
Julius West.
Julius West, yeah, Julius West. Both 9A, Julius West. So you guys can come and scrutinize me.
Hey guys, I've been keeping my mouth shut because I've been to a couple of these and I've been digesting this material. It is gold. My training sessions now are not drills, and they're tons of fun. The kids beg for more time to practice, whereas they used to tell me, I want to do this today. They used to tell me, I want to play this today. And now they're just following my lead. It's really fantastic.
That's great. What age group?
U12s.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's great.
Well, thank you for that, Bill. That's very kind of you to say. But any time that you guys need help or would like help or have any follow-up questions, just let me know. And more than happy to come and help. But yeah, like I say, next week there's 2 on-field sessions. Come to them both if you'd like, or just the one. But yeah, feel free to jump on. And yeah, like I said, just to summarize, well done for being part of the meeting tonight. It's not easy, and you guys did a fantastic job of thinking and reflecting all the way through. So well done.
So I do have a question.
Cheers.
I do have a question. We're so traditionally focused on technique and skill and You know.
Do you? It's a great question, Bill. Do you guys have time to talk about it? I don't want to take too much more of your time. So this is where action language becomes important. So Bill's kind of just opened up the box of worms. You guys like peeled the can off the worms, and Bill's just ripped it off, right? So in terms of when people talk about technique, it's very easy to talk about technique because it's easy to see. And this is why people say their technique is not very good. Now, if I have an 8 and a 9-year-old, it's very easy for me to turn around and say, rubbish technique. They can't do it. Technique's terrible. However, when we look, and this is why football actions occur, we look at a football action, it's not just one thing happening, okay? There is an interaction constantly that's occurring. Because we use the metaphor with Derek. If I have the ball or Derek doesn't have the ball and he's pressing me, Derek's decision is based off where I am on the field, what my body position is, the foot where the ball is, and then Derek can make his decision based off all those factors. Now, how he then executes it, that is up to Derek, and how Derek decides to do that. Now, there is not a set stone technique to be able to do these football actions or football interactions, which is really important to know. There are certain ways to make these interactions more conducive. So as an example, receiving is an easier one. You receive the ball on the foot which is furthest away from the defender, okay? Or you use the foot which is closest to press and win the ball from the defender. So this is always in relation to the opponent. Yes, there's an interaction. Now, for a long time in the world of football, people have said that they can fix football technique or football or just technique in general by doing isolated activities with no defenders. Now, it becomes very popular because you see kids very quickly get better by doing these isolated activities. They dribble through cones, they pass with no defenders, and all of a sudden they get passing. They get better at passing, quote unquote, with no defenders and dribbling through cones, and there's no defenders there. But then what happens is they get into a football environment where there are defenders, and they don't know how to pass and they don't know how to dribble because, unfortunately, the cones don't move them. So the last part of this, to answer your question, Bill, is a technique is just an action by itself, okay? So an example of this is Usain Bolt runs 100 meters in however many seconds he does. His technique is sprinting. He is sprinting. That is the technique he is using, right? In football, we just talked about this. If there is no defender or no opponent in front of me, and there is the goal and the goalkeeper, I'm going to take the ball and go as fast as I can with the ball to the goal. Now, the technique I am using, quote unquote, is not sprinting. What am I doing? What would the action be? Dribbling, right? That would be the action. Yeah, there you go, Brian. Dribbling. If I don't have the ball, and I will use Derek again. Derek has the ball in front of me, and he's off to the sideline. Am I going to sprint to the ball, or am I going to press the ball? Press, right? Because it's the interaction. The means of getting there would be sprinting and running to get there. But the action is pressing because that is the interaction between us. So that's why when we talk about technique, defining what technique is would be executing these decisions. Now, technique is always in relation to the opponent and the person that you're playing against. There can't be a technique executed without an opponent you're playing against. And for someone to say good technique or bad technique, well, that's based off the person that, you are playing with or against. So if I am wanting to run forwards, and this is where we look at, is it a technique problem? So people say, oh, good technique, bad technique. Well, what if the problem was the decision that was being made? So Derek's in front of me now. Derek is one-on-one with the goal. He's in line, so he's not offside. And the defender is off to this side. Derek is stood here. I pass the ball behind him. Derek takes an extra touch, and then he doesn't have space to go to the goal. It would be a bad decision by me because I played the pass behind him, where instead the pass should have been played in front of him. So it's not Derek's technique. It was my poor decision and my poor technique. So it's very easy to say that its technique is either the problem or the solution to all of our problems and solutions, but it's not. Because we play a sport where interaction is occurring all the time. Decisions are then being made. And then the execution that is then made is based off those decisions. Now, I know this is a lot, but this is the reality. And if we can take this on board and start to learn football actions theory, it will make our ability to coach football or soccer much better. So, you know, that is why technique exists as such a powerful thing, especially over here in America, because people say, oh, I can fix their technique. But can they? Can they fix their technique? Because technique, as we now know, is the execution of the decision. And if they're executing decisions against cones all the time, is that relative or is that not relative?
Mm-hmm.
So
you say there's sort of a sliding scale. So you have decision and then technique. When you have much younger players, you typically focus on technique. And this is a question. And then you sort of, you know, decision making becomes more digestible and therefore more of a focal point of practice.
So Derek, I'm going to interrupt you because you're not wrong, but how we define it is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Players that are really young, it's very difficult to teach them football tactics or football interactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult because their relationship with each other is very limited. So what you can teach is better decision making and better execution, which is technique. So if you play 2v2 a lot or 1v1, you can increase their ability to execute football decisions, but you are limited with being able to improve their football interactions, which is why the youngest ages, you can improve their quote-unquote football technique more or execution decision by doing small side activities such as 1v1, 2v1, 2v2.
Mm-hmm.
But you shouldn't solely focus on their quote-unquote technique.
Sure.
It's still a team sport. So if you play 3v3 and 4v4, this is where the interaction is really important. We have the ball, we make our triangle or our diamond as big as possible. We create depth, we create width. From there, we make our decisions. How we make our decisions is how we execute them. So it's not to say that, you know, interaction is not important, but like you have said, and you are correct, making that execution decision or technique should be the thing that we are focused on the most because it's what we can teach probably the most. So that's why. But it's not the only thing that we should be teaching. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, it totally did. And I wasn't sort of suggesting that decision making wasn't, you know, a part of teaching, you know, at the earliest levels. I was just trying to like understand, like, assuming it's a sliding scale.
Yeah, for sure. It is a sliding scale. You have to figure out where the players are at as well. Yeah. Now here's the exception to the rule, right? I was talking about cones earlier and not dribbling around cones. Kids should play all the time. Should play small-sided games, 2v2, 3v3, 4v4. Should be the majority of what they're doing. Okay? If you have a kid, and there are those kids out there, because I'm not naive, that can't stand on their own 2 feet, they fall over at a gust of wind, they can't control the ball, that may be where you say, hey, get a ball, kick it against the wall for 20 minutes a day.
Yeah.
With your kicking, okay, because they're not passing, they're kicking. And then you can improve their ability to move with the ball because they're not dribbling against defenders if they can't do that. And then there you can improve that ability for them. So that's that would be one solution to it. But remember, we don't improve football interactions without an opponent. So it's very, you have to be very careful. I can develop players, their basic actions, which is kicking and controlling the ball, but passing and receiving, I won't improve if there's no players there. So just something to think about. Something to think about.
Makes sense.
I
appreciate your time. I've got to bounce.
No, my pleasure, guys.
Good meeting everyone.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
All right, guys. Good stuff. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Yield to it. Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.